Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Season 2, Episode 1 of NXT The Game. Tonight we will be having the first NXT show of the season. It will be a quicker video today because we are having a 30-minute, 10-man over-the-top rope battle royal to determine the new #1 contender to the NXT Championship. Not as many matches because of the time, or segments because of the time, but I got a lot of things planned and written out. It's been 4 days since the NXT Season 1 finale, Legacy. Let's get straight into it, guys. I'm very excited to see what Season 2 holds. Alright, got 3 pre-show matches. And about that, had some good action, but no heat. Jordan Gable defeated the Gentleman's Club in 8 minutes when Drew Gable defeated Drew Gallagher by pinfall with a German suplex, and that would be Chad Gable. Excuse me. The next match, an extremely short match, Neville defeated Ty Dillinger in 3 minutes with a Phoenix Splash. And the last pre-show match had Sasha Banks defeating Athena via the Banks statement. Sasha Banks was off her game tonight. Well, that's not great. Anyways, let's get into NXT The Game Season 2 Episode 1. The camera begins to play for the NXT Season 2 Episode 1 trailer and begins to show clips of the NXT TakeOver Legacy, our WrestleMania. It runs through the clips from the Young Bucks retaining, Balor beating Zayn, Mr. NXT winning the NXT Money in the Bank, Bo Dallas retaining his NXT Championship, and then sitting on full clips of Triple H and Kevin Owens. They show clips about how great the match was between Triple H and Kevin Owens and how Scott Hall's turning on his best friend Triple H. The fans cheer, boo, and let them know they do not appreciate it. It then shows Owens and Hall looking to the ramp where Kevin Nash, Clique member and best friend who was beaten earlier, comes to the ring to protect Triple H. Nash stops as he gets there last and then turns on Triple H as well. A 3-on-1 assault continues with all of them hitting their finishers. It then shows Hall's promo and focuses on him saying, as I've said before, when you're in the NWO, you're in the NWO for life. The footage fades with the NWO logo, now in gold, as we fade. Welcome to NXT, it's Season 2, Corey, and that's just you and me going forward. I'm so glad, Renee. I felt that Pitts Creek Todd Fells was just holding us down. Tell him did a fine job, Corey. Corey Graves. Got the hots from or something, eh, Renee? That guy was a tool. Renee sensed the different, more heelish Graves. What? Says Corey. Renee Young gets her call back. Well, tonight, Corey, we're going to have a 10-man over-the-top rope battle royal to determine the #1 contender to the NXT Championship. I cannot wait, Renee, says Corey Graves sarcastically. We now fade into the show. New World Order. If you guys can see, I'm trying to spruce up my graphics a little bit. I got NWO stable headers right here. The fans all stand up as the NWO Gold's logo flashes on the Titantron as Kevin Nash, Scott Hall, Dawn, and Fred Suits walk out to a maddening amount of boos. They both point back to the ramp in which Kevin Owens walks out not smiling and not looking happy. Just looking pissed off, he slowly makes his way into the top of the ramp. Kevin Nash looks to Scott Hall, who hands Kevin Owens a microphone. Owens closes his eyes, huffs and puffs, looking around to a crazy amount of boos. What happened in NXT TakeOver Legacy was just the beginning of the NWO Gold stepping up to reclaim their stranglehold on professional wrestling. This is going to be short and sweet because tonight I need to prepare. Because tonight starts the dawning of a new era. Tonight starts the gold standard. Owens drops the mic as the NWO Gold heads to the back. So basically what I'm trying to accomplish here is not get too crazy with the domination of the NWO, which I will tell all you NWO fans is coming. I could have went with a different stable name, but I thought, you know what? Let's go with the NWO. This is all fantasy. This is all fun. Everyone loved the NWO back in the day. So we've had the red and black. We've had the black and white. We're going NWO Gold standard, aka NXT colors, but NWO Gold. So that's what the group of Kevin Nash, Scott Hall, and Kevin Owens is. As we get through further weeks, we'll finally realize why they did what they did, why they turned when they turned. Basically, we'll go ahead and as the weeks play out, lay everything out. But because tonight was the 30-man battle royal, we're going to be really low on angles this week, and we're just going to get to the stuff that we need to get done until we get to the first NXT TakeOver special of Season 2. So today is kind of like, as much as everyone likes the post-WrestleMania show, I'm going to use this show to go ahead and set up Season 2's first couple months in terms of their major storyline. Alright. In a match that had good action with no heat, Mr. NXT defeated Tommaso Ciampa, Brian Kendrick, and Johnny Gargano in 8 minutes when Mr. NXT defeated Tommaso Ciampa by submission with a hangman's clutch. Mr. NXT makes defense #1 of the NXT television title. Now, for those of you who may or may not recall, I think it was episode 55 or 54, where Mr. NXT was told that the first show after NXT TakeOver Legacy, he would be defending his newly won from Zack Ryder NXT Television Championship. Zack Ryder was supposed to be in this match, however, Zack Ryder was sent away. I have, I guess I should say, I purchased, we made about just over $2 million over the first year of NXT. So I went ahead and purchased promotion, kind of like WWE's NXT. I purchased a feeder system, a developmental system, which I'm calling NXT Battleground after the television show, so that we have big news, I guess. NXT has its own developmental promotion now called Battleground. Mr. Ryder was sent down there to train some people until I get some trainers that I have bids in on, and then he'll be back. But anyways, Mr. NXT winning via fatal 4-way with the television championship. I'm undecided if I'm going to continue with the television championship. Not that I would make it defunct, but I would change it and go in a different direction with it. But as of right now, still the TV title. I still may keep it a TV title, but I think I'm going to stray away from the defending the TV title every other week. I kind of like that model to begin with, but as the farther I got into the NXT universe and the more flushed out the storylines really became, it became a problem. If I was going to, like, Mr. NXT beat Zack Ryder, which was fine. Zack Ryder had it for 8 weeks, but because I wanted to push Mr. NXT and give him a championship, now that it's not nearly being held by a wrestler with his little overness as Zack Ryder, I kind of want to go away. So actually, I think I'm officially saying right now that I'm going to keep the NXT Television Championship as is in terms of naming, but I'm not going to defend it every other week. And we're not going to have number one contendership matches every other week, but we will still keep the TV title. And it will still only be defended on television, but it won't be every other week. We wanted to pass along to you tonight that 2 weeks it's going to be Asuka getting her NXT Women's Championship rematch against Sasha Banks, who captured her NXT Women's Championship at TakeOver Legacy. And what a fantastic match that was. Renee says Corey Graves. They were both in rare form. It was a top 5 women's match in the history of NXT for sure. Sasha Banks, the new champion, will be here next week in front of you fans wrestling. The camera pops up again, though, as we see the NWO gold in the back. Kevin Owens is leaning against a nearby wall, but Scott Hall and Kevin Nash appear to be talking to someone. The camera shifts, and it's the NXT Women's Champion, Sasha Banks. So, Sasha Banks will be in ring next week, but tonight, she was talking to the NWO Gold. What was that about? I don't know. In a match that's been good action, but not much heat, Bayley defeated Portia Perez in 5 minutes when Portia Perez was disqualified because Angelina Love ran in to attack Bayley, as well Madison Rayne and Velvet Sky. We have just seen the debut of the Beautiful People. The bell starts to sound over and over and over and over again as Angelina Love, Madison Rayne, and Velvet Sky have just debuted in NXT. The Beautiful People will pick up Bayley and continue the assault on Bayley, the fans booing louder than they have in anything else in months. Unsure why they've just debuted and what the purpose was for attacking Bayley, the Beautiful People finally leave the ring and back up to the ramp with a chorus of boos. So Bayley just last season, the end at Legacy, got over Gail Kim, got over Dana Brooke, got over Emma, finally got over the hurdle. And just when she thought she could focus on trying to get back into the number one contendership rankings to challenge for the NXT Women's Championship, the Beautiful People debut out of nowhere and take out Bayley. So I had signed these chicks a while ago, and I'm very excited to debut them. I was a fan of theirs as TNA. So let's see what the 3 girls have in store for Bayley. They have debuted their heels, and they are taking out Bayley, who, for whatever reason, seems to be the whipping girl of NXT. Maybe it's because she's the most over, because she's a fan favorite babyface, but Bayley, again, after just climbing the hurdle, is going to have another hurdle to climb this season, and that hurdle will be the Beautiful People. Alright, the scene pops up with Kevin Owens, Kevin Nash, and Scott Hall again standing in the back as the fans can again be heard booing. They seem to be talking about tonight's 10-man over-the-top rope Battle Royal main event, with the winner getting a shot at the NXT champion Bo Dallas. NWO Gold really hasn't done much to show their power this week, and maybe they won't, but fear not, this season is just getting started, everyone. And with Kevin Nash and Scott Hall behind the seemingly unstoppable Kevin Owens, who knows what's in store. So the NWO, while they haven't been, just beat down like the NWO used to do in their heyday, which I may do eventually, I'm not sure, but they've been definitely making their presence felt on NXT. Next week we're going to have, everyone coming back. We're going to have the Balor Club and all these guys. But this week I really, because of the show hanging angle, I wanted to get to obviously I wanted to get to the, the NWO stuff. A music video is now shown to promote Jay Lethal. He will be in action next week, making his NXT debut. The camera now finds NXT champion Bo Dallas, who will be joining Renee Young and Corey Graves on commentary for tonight's NXT #1 Contenders 10-man over-the-top rope Battle Royal main event. Who's going to get to face Bo Dallas at the next... Well, I don't know if it's going to be TakeOver, but who's going to get to face Bo Dallas? Who's going to be the #1 contender? Let's find out. Alright, everyone, about the featured great action and average heat. This is my best match rating ever, by the way. Mr. NXT won a Battle Royal at 25 minutes. The other members of the Final Four were Apollo Crews, Kevin Owens, Samoa Joe, with Apollo Crews being the final elimination. Kevin Owens got the most eliminations. During the match, we also saw the Young Bucks distract Sami Zayn. Stop it. After the match, Bo Dallas, who had just made his way down to ringside, holds up the NXT Championship, and Mr. NXT, who was lucky to even win the match, the idea being that Owens was caught off guard by Crews, begins to yell at Mr. NXT. So basically, I'm running the angle. This is Kevin Nash. That should be Kevin Owens. Oopsies. That's okay. Basically, I'm trying to play. It's hard because you can't exactly put the notes in, but basically Kevin Owens got distracted somehow by the Young Bucks with Balor, and excuse me, got distracted by the Young Bucks with Balor, and Kevin Owens was eliminated by Apollo Crews. Mr. NXT begins the motion that he will, screaming as such, be the new NXT champion, as he is now the #1 contender. Let me read this whole sentence. So, after the match, Bo Dallas, who had made his way down to the ringside, holds up the NXT Championship, and Mr. NXT, who was lucky to even win the match, the idea being Owens was caught off guard by Crews, begins to yell at Mr. NXT, who hasn't even won the championship, but that he won't win the championship. Mr. NXT begins the motion that he will, screaming as such, as the fans begin to let the Sea of Blues rain in on Mr. NXT, who is now the #1 contender to the NXT Championship. The camera shows Bo Dallas as well, as the fans begin to boo at him too, but not as much as Mr. NXT. The scene ends for the week with the camera focusing on the NXT champion and challenger, then on Apollo Crews, who's just getting up for being tossed out of the ring, and Kevin Owens, who is pissed off at ringside. So Mr. NXT is now the #1 contender to the NXT championship. He is, as of Legacy, the NXT Money in the Bank contract holder. So essentially he has 2 shots here. And he's also the NXT Television Championship. So if you cannot see, Mr. NXT is getting a massive push to start Season 2. Alright. The show increased in 15 popularities. This is our best rating of all time. I'm not sure why it's our best rating of all time, but it is. Not going to complain. Probably because our main event was such a success, and from what I've been told on forums, that if your main event's a success, your show rating really goes up. So I'm going to keep that in mind going forward. But very excited with how the debut of Season 2 Episode 1 turned out. We will be posting this in the morning when I wake up. Like I said, I'm extremely excited to present NXT The Game Season 2. I have a lot more in store. I have a lot more recordings to do. I have a lot of my cards already planned out. So I wanted to wait a week before I released it, but I couldn't wait any longer. Thanks for watching, everyone, and I really hope you enjoy the writing in Season 2 because I have a crap load of stuff up my sleeve, and lots of debuts, lots of twists, lots of turns. It's going to be very fun this season. Thanks for watching, everyone, and thanks for honestly watching my first season. I mean, that's why I'm continuing to do it, everyone, because all the positive feedback I've gotten. Anyways, thanks.